Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, it's your boy Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo. Let's talk football. I apologize. I couldn't keep it going tonight. I am, in a place where I had to be a little bit quiet. I had to be a little quieter, but I'm still here, still with the energy. What's up? And you know who I'm with. I got my people, my guys, Mr. Nathan Snell, the lovely Delilah Crespo, Rick Smoke, Nick Rosario. What's up, guys? How we feeling tonight?
Hey, how are we doing, everybody? How's it going? I'm just going to smile and show my teeth because they look white in the screen here. Look like I got perfect teeth.
Nick brings the smoke, Rosario.
Is that his name? I bring the smoke.
And shout out to my man, Nick Rosario. If you watched Washington Football Weekly yesterday, we had an absence of a couple of guys on the show. Nick filled in, did a great job. Let us all know where number one receiver is.
He did. He did good.
All I have to say is I think I'm still fighting with Ab on Facebook about stuff. I don't know. Maybe locked in the war for weeks to come. Who knows?
Let's go. But we got to get into it. And we have to start off. We also, if you don't know, we have another Facebook group that's called Let's Talk College Basketball, where we follow the entire tournament. We did a couple shows on the tournament. And if you know, the tournament's over. It's over. Baylor. The Baylor Bears dominated that game against Gonzaga and knocked the undefeated off. And the women, Stanford Cardinals, were able to knock off Arizona.
Yep.
We thought we won in Arizona. I mean, I did.
Which, of course, I predicted. If you look at my bracket, I believe the Stanford Cardinals won on my bracket. What I'm saying to you is, I picked that one. That's all I'm saying.
And shout out.
Don't shake your head at me, Nathaniel. I don't want to hear it. You probably picked Maryland to win the whole tournament. I don't want to hear it. Stanford Cardinals, baby. Russell Wilson's younger sister. Come on.
Yes.
Shout out to Nick Rosario.
Right.
Shout out to Nick Rosario. Winning that tournament. Definitely was able to get the $25 prize that we gifted him with. Congratulations to you. The men's tournament.
Oh, thank you.
The winner of that one is the username was Dance Mates. And we think that's Norm. So Norm, if that's you, you got some money coming your way, man. You definitely won.
Our buddy Normie.
So, shout it out to you.
The Norminator.
Also, Delilah, all right. Delilah, Stanford, one of the girls on Stanford is kin to Russell Wilson.
Yes, Anna Wilson. Yeah, she actually cut down the so the nets, and her brother was a lot of the games during the tournament, actually. Like, he was actually rooting her on almost the whole tournament. Even before that, we know Russell Wilson is a very family-oriented guy, and he definitely supports his sister's basketball career. And, that family has championship blood in there. I mean, you got, a star football player. Now you're, a woman who probably is going to declare for the WNBA, because a few have already started to do that. So, kudos to her. I hope she does decide to, put her head in and, gets picked up by, a WNBA team, because she definitely has the talent. So
Nice.
Kudos. I thought that was really great that he was there to support his little sister.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And it's also good to have some good news come out about him. You had all this stuff with him talking about him feuding with, Pete Carroll, him feuding with, the Seahawks and all that stuff. So it's good to hear something positive come out about Russell Wilson. And I'm glad, hey, shout out to Stanford. They did their thing. Shout out to Nick.
They did their job. They did their job.
Yep. Shout out to Nick on predicting that. But another thing that's happening.
Not that I'm the greatest women's college football or basketball follower, but I saw a couple things and I thought, Stanford was the number 1 overall seed in that tournament. Yeah. And I figured it would come down to them in UConn, which I believe was the final I had. UConn. So, so it was good. It was good. I'm happy to secure the victory, but let's I digress. Let's move on.
That game was a lot more fun to watch because it wasn't as skewed as the Gonzaga. Exactly. Like both teams duked it out to the end. Yeah. I mean, kudos to Ari McDonald because she was the star player that whole tournament. The whole tournament, she shut down UConn, right? Like we know that, right? So. Kudos to her in Arizona. They have a lot to be proud of because they played hard. So
and I gotta shout out women's college basketball because one of the things I saw, especially in the Final Four and the last game, like there was a lot of sports, like the sportsmanship was off the charts. You know what I mean? Like I can remember specifically the one game. I think it wasn't UConn. One of the teams they had shot it at the very last second and she missed it. And the girl just literally broke down when she realized it. And the other two, other team, UConn,
it was Ryan Howard,
right? And they came over and they just hugged her right away, like that. I mean, obviously it's different with men and this and that, but I mean, I think that was dope. Like that really moved me. So I'm with that. But we are NFL. We are the Roundtable, so we have to start talking about. There's not much that's been going on. One of the things that actually has come out is that the NFL plans to go to 17 games. I like that. That's kind of dope. Nick, how you feeling about that?
I am feeling phenomenal. Well, here, it's one basically what's happening. If you want to break this down seriously, it's 17 games that count. They're going to take away one preseason game. And basically make it a real, make it an official game. So you go from 4 preseason to 3. It gives you one less game to kind of evaluate some of those second and third tier players. So you got to get that done in 3 games instead of 4 games now. So you probably have to make some cuts a lot sooner, things like that. But and you got to understand, it's a money thing. Because the owners get another game to put people in the stadium, to get that money, to do all that. Because you got to understand, too, that means another week where these guys have to kind of really give it, in preseason, we know what happens. A lot of the main starters will play a quarter or 2.
Right.
And then, you don't see them till the first game of the season. Now they're playing 17 full contact games. That's an extra game where you may have some injuries. Some guys may get hurt. Right. We see freak injuries all the time or guys just tighten up or whatever. So, I mean, from a competition standpoint, I love it. I love having another game that means something to watch on a Sunday afternoon. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously this is the first year they're going to do it. So let's take a look, see how it goes. Hopefully people stay healthy and we get entertained in the process. So I'm always up for more football. So that's my take.
I like that. And yeah, from a fan's perspective, we definitely absolutely love it. Definitely gives us an opportunity to go to more games and things of that nature. So that's what's up. I definitely love it. But to move on into this, and Nate, I'm coming to you, the blockbuster move that we did find out this week. The New York Jets, who have been sitting on Sam Darnold for all offseason, trade him for 3 picks to the Carolina Panthers. Explain that. Explain the picks, what they traded him for, and what does this mean for Teddy Bridgewater?
Yes. Sam Darnold was traded to the Carolina Panthers for a 21 6th-round pick and a 2nd and 4th round pick for next year's draft for 2022. What this means, first of all, for Sam Darnold, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, can we just all agree that Adam Gase ruined this kid? I even though I have been on the record saying that in his draft class, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are going to be the best 2 quarterbacks, but I digress. Sam Darnold, I think this is a great system for him of coaching Matt Rule. My only thing with Teddy, you gave him a 3-year deal for $30 million, if I remember correctly. And I'm kind of now at this point where I'm ready to kind of say, like, he's getting Alex Smith, where, he came off the leg injury, and it's kind of like, well, Ron Rivera came out and kind of told himself, well, we didn't really want to take a chance on him because, every time he snapped back or was, he took a hit, everyone goes, oh my gosh. So I think with Teddy Bridgewater, you're Carolina, you have to make a decision what you're going to do with him. You're going to, have him as a backup. You're going to trade him. And I mean, at this point, I think it's just best to trade him. I mean, I have a couple teams for Teddy. I think he could fit perfectly. My number one, if I could say that, Sean, I think my top 3 teams for him, I would say is Pittsburgh. I like the Dwayne Haskins, but I don't think he's the answer. I think that's a potential place. I'm going to say San Francisco. I think with Jimmy Garoppolo, accountability is the best. Is something that he lacks. He's not. He's been injured, and then I think personally, hate to say it, Sean, Washington.
Yeah, I love Teddy. I've always loved Teddy. I've always thought we should get him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought we should get him when we got him from Minnesota. I thought we should get him when we gave him from New Orleans. I followed him since I'm an ACC guy. I followed him since Louisville. I know his story about his mom and that whole situation. So yes, I absolutely love getting Teddy. But you also, come on, man. You tried to get it was some gotcha stuff. This is the man that likes Fitzpatrick. All right, I was happy when Fitzmagic came.
Right.
With that.
So I was.
Yeah, so Delilah, go ahead.
Well, no, I saw an article that an NFL insider feels that he might wind up at the Broncos. What do you guys think about that? I
think that's a perfect spot for Teddy to go to, actually.
I saw a few articles pop up saying that
I have questions for that one, but okay.
Yeah, I would say I don't know, but I read a couple of articles.
Are we writing off Drew Lock? This is after what, 4
I'm not
4 years?
Yeah, but Adam Landon, the sports writer, he's the one who wrote up that it's possible an NFL insider believes Teddy Bridgewater will end up with the Broncos. Obviously, they're just, but
that wouldn't be bad for Denver at all. I don't think
it could be a good fit, right? It could be a good fit.
Yeah, it could be.
If it will happen or not, that's it's a whole different thing.
That's always
I will address that and their needs.
Yeah. Now the thing that now the one common theme though that all the analysts are saying is that Teddy will not be in Carolina. That seems to be the consensus.
No, I don't see it.
Yeah,
so
where he'll be,
Sam Darnold.
Right. So where he'll end up is a question, right? Is he gonna end up as a backup or is he gonna be picked up to be a starting QB? That's really what comes down to, right? Like what which team wants him?
I've heard a lot of people say backup. I've heard a lot of people lean towards backup. You know what I mean? And I hate that. I would take him as my starter, but I've heard a lot of teams lean towards backup, and and what Nathan said that he's got health issues. You know what I mean? That knee injury is gonna carry him, is gonna follow him his whole entire career. So
probably.
It stinks, but I mean it's the truth. So shout out to a couple people watching. Alex, what's going on, Alex? Alex Stevens, Wendy Heron, you're watching. Big Packers fan.
Wendy, that's my friend Wendy. She was mad at me last week. Was Wendy still mad at me? Wendy's still mad at me?
Oh no, she's good. She's good now. We're not talking about the Packers. We're not talking about the Packers. But she said Aaron Jones' father passed away, so definitely send your prayers to that family.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that.
And condolences.
And also, actually, thank you, Wendy. This is a perfect topic. So this is a quick sidebar we can address real quick. Aaron Rodgers hosted Jeopardy this past week. Did anybody watch it? I didn't watch it.
One dude gave him the smoke. Did you
That
see
question was hilarious. I
That was the
posted it.
best thing. Yeah.
I posted on Let's Talk
I saw
Football.
something like that.
And so instead of answering the question, he actually asked him, like, whose idea was it to kick the field goal? I was like,
field goal, yeah. He said, "Who wanted to kick the field goal?"
Yeah, I was
like, and Aaron's like, "That's a good question."
That was funny though. I was like, well, he wasted his turn on that, but I thought it was hilarious.
Well, yeah, because I obviously didn't know the answer, so he figured he'd ask Aaron a question. I liked it. I thought it was hilarious.
And actually, sidebar to that, this has nothing to do with anybody. It does have to do with Jeopardy. LeVar Burton, I heard, was potentially one of the people that might be in the running to.
There's a petition out there. There's a petition out there to get him.
Reading Rainbow.
I love him. He's perfect.
Mr. Roots. Mr.
Kinte, right?
Okay. Well, I was thinking more Reading Rainbow.
I'm thinking Black Power.
Listen, the thing is that I saw him on Reading Rainbow before I saw Roots.
Right. Yes.
Are we forgetting he was on Star Trek?
Absolutely not. I'm a Trekkie. No, I'm just saying the first place I saw him, though.
I mean, I was trying to read
Rainbow.
Yeah, was Reading Rainbow. Then I saw him on Star Trek, and then in Roots when I was older.
That's what's up. Yeah.
But I think he'd be perfect replacement. Are you kidding me? Like, but anyway.
You're missing the best LeVar Burton part of all. He played Will Smith's dad on The Fresh Prince. Come on.
Exactly.
Right? Leading to one of the greatest scenes ever. Why doesn't he want me, man?
I mean, that was like the.
Let's go. Let's go. But back to football and shout out to Wendy. Delilah. Wendy says hi.
Hi.
So we also heard with the extension, Tyler Lockett got an extension for Seattle, which Nate, we were talking about before the show, that this is mainly you feel like a ploy to just keep Russell Wilson in Seattle. We already know Tyler Lockett. Yeah. Tyler Lockett is Russell Wilson's guy. The extension is 4 years, $69.2 million. And I like it. I'm glad he's staying in there. But yeah, it was definitely done for a reason. Let's be real on that. And my guy out of UNC, we talked about him last night on Washington Football Weekly. Giovanni Bernard asked for and gets his release from Cincinnati at a horrible time because everybody's focused on the draft. Nobody's thinking about picking somebody up. But I love him. He's a running back and kick returner, but we can't use him. I hate it. I talked to you, Nick, about what you guys think. How would you guys take him? Or
here's the thing: we're kind
of stacked though. Yeah, like we already got.
Maybe if this was 3 weeks ago before we signed Williams, but
that's what I'm like. We already got like that.
It's like
they're already gonna.
As much as I hate to say that, our backfield is full now in a sense.
It is.
Again, you have Tariq Cohen. You do have. David Montgomery is our feature. He's our number one back, and then picking up Williams. And you still have Ryan Nall there, so there's actually 4 running backs in that system that will probably make the team this year.
Don't forget about Cordero Patterson.
And if you say that one more time, I swear to you, I'm coming to this computer on you. I do not want to see that guy in the backfield ever again. You know what I'm telling you? You're going to get smoked all the way from Chicago to Virginia. I'm going to smoke it.
Chicago, all right, so Chicago can't take him. Nate, could you guys take him as maybe
No.
That was defiant, though. That was like
we have Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards, who I'm surprised at this point has not been re-signed because he's unrestricted. And then you got J.K. Dobbins and Justice Hill. I'm thinking they probably will most. And Baltimore always usually finds a way to draft another running back. Don't understand that they usually draft one every year, but you don't eat. No, we're fine.
Okay.
And I wonder what he'll end up then, because it's just that it's just like we're talking about. My team doesn't need another running back, right? That's already going to be a competitive spot, right? You're going to have at least 4 different guys fighting to actually be the one starting. So it's like, and so that's just wouldn't make sense for us. Right. How about you guys? How about Washington?
The thing with Washington, we have McKissick, we have Barber, we have Bryce,
and Antonio Gibson.
We have Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
We're stacked too. You're good there.
Yeah, we're stacked back there. The thing that he offers, and he did a lot of this at North Carolina, was he's also a kick and punt returner. and he's a fairly good one. He did it more in Cincinnati because Jeremy Hill was with him for years, and then now Joe Mixon is taking the main snaps.
I mean, he'll probably get like a training camp deal to see if he can make the team.
I mean, he can play. I think he's getting picked up
for sure.
He's going to play on somebody's team. He's a solid back, but he's not a number one.
No.
Yeah.
If we know what a number one is
anymore.
Well, that's true too.
He's not, I mean, and unfortunately, as a back that gets older, man, once you pass like 25 as a back in the NFL, people seem to just think you're done.
Right.
Like, nobody wants a 28, 29, 30-year-old back. You're like, no, this guy's been in the league 6-7 years. I don't want him. I want a kid who's 23, 24 and, wide-eyed and, yeah. So I don't know.
We have to be honest that the days of the Derrick Henry is almost extinct. You know what I mean? Who gets 400 carries a season? Who's getting 2,000 yards or 1,500 to 1,800? That's a rarity these days.
It really
doesn't happen as frequently as it used to because we've moved to the passing attack.
Right.
But we got to go ahead and move on. I love this. We are going to bring in a lot of specific conversation about each division in the AFC. But before we do that, we have a special time of the show, Diversity with Delilah.
All right.
And today she will cover Hines Ward.
Great Hines Ward.
Take it away.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So, Hines Ward, as we know, was, one of the most kind of famous, Pittsburgh wide receivers, right? Of that time, right? Of the era he played in, which was like the late 90s, mid late 90s. But anyway, so Hines Ward actually is a Korean American football player. He actually was born in Seoul, South Korea. His mother is Korean, his father is African American. And so he spent a lot of time in Korea as a child, back and forth. And so he's got a kind of deep connection to Korea. So he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 3rd round of the 1998 NFL draft. He played his whole entire professional career with the Steelers. He became the team's, all-time leader in receptions at that point, right? Receiving yardage, touchdown receptions. Ward, he was voted MVP of Super Bowl 40. Upon retirement, he was one of 11 NFL players to have at least 1,000 career receptions, right? And so he basically put most of his stats was, it with the Steelers, because that's basically where he spent his time, his whole career on. He was guided, really. He had a coach as a mentor. He talked about that, how his father really wasn't in his life too much. And so it was a coach at Forest Park High School in Forest Park, Georgia, that kind of showcased or kind of mentored him and saw that he had athletic skills, because he actually played quarterback in high school. So that they talked about that too, how that's where he went. He also played as a quarterback at Georgia. He was 2-time Clayton County Offensive Player of the Year. He also excelled in baseball. So he was also drafted by the Florida Marlins, which we know that happens a lot, right? There's a lot of players that get drafted in the MLB and in NFL. That's not uncommon. But yeah, so he also played, for the University of Georgia Bulldogs. More as a wide receiver than as a quarterback. That's really what the position he played was, wide receiver. Also broke a lot of goals there as well. 149 career receptions, 1,965 yards, placed him in second in that team's history. He also played tailback and totaled 3,870 all-purpose yards, second only to Herschel Walker in Bulldogs history. So he was also breaking records in college. So it wasn't just that he was successful as an NFL player. He really was killing it in college. In 96, Ward had 52 receptions for 900 yards, also ran 26 times for 170 yards. In 1997, he hauled 55 passes for 715 yards, scored 6 touchdowns, ran 30 times for 223 yards, getting all SEC honors in the process. So basically, he was just killing it even in college, right? That's basically, you know, where he lost his value is because he got hurt as a child. He didn't know that it was a big deal, but apparently he hurt his ACL riding a bike when he was younger, and they didn't discover that till, you know, he got hurt as a college player. And so that dropped his value because that's why he got picked so low in the draft, because they actually saw him being picked going higher. They thought he was going to be drafted with Randy Moss, right? Because that's kind of
he should have been.
Yeah, and so, but what happened was, again, because of his injuries, his value dropped, and so the Buccaneers were actually looking at him, but they drafted Jacquay Green instead, and then Pittsburgh, yeah, and so that's who they picked instead.
There you go. Hey, Sam Bowie before Michael Jordan. These things happen. What are you going to do, right?
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely right.
And so then Ward was selected by the Steelers, you know, in the 3rd round. He was 92nd overall. So again, he was supposed to go higher, but because of the ACL issue, his value dropped. But as we saw, he didn't matter, right? Because he went and killed it with Pittsburgh. So
exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, so Ward played 14 seasons for the Steelers. So that's basically his whole career. He was with them at Super Bowl 40 and Super Bowl 43. So he does have 2 Super Bowl wins with them. You know, he's got 12,083 career receiving yards, which also ranks him first in that franchise, which ranks him with John Stallworth and Lynn Swann.
That's good company to be in.
Nice.
So he's, you know, he's in good company, and that's why a lot of people were actually upset that he was snubbed, right, for the Football Hall of Fame, because he was due, and so a lot of people were actually angry that he wasn't selected, because so people were upset that he wasn't chosen. So he was we were talking about that earlier, how he was the MVP of Super Bowl 40. So so I think that it's, again, a stellar guy, because he also became an advocate, right? It wasn't just, we know that, right? We see that a lot. So it wasn't just football for him. You know, he's very outspoken about being a mixed race person and how they would make fun of him. And he's like that they used to call him Jackie Chan and stuff like that. And so he does a lot for, you know, both the Black and Asian communities. And so, you know, he does a lot for anti-racism on both forefronts. And so, so that's not just, it's not just about football. He also coached for a little bit, right? You guys know he was assistant coach for a little bit. And so he did some coaching. He did some TV work, right? He was on Football Night in America. He did some announcing, things like that. And so, I just felt like he just wanted to talk about Hines Ward and, you know, show his value. But he, you know, he was actually, I don't think people know, but he was appointed by President Obama to be on the Advisory Commission on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So he also worked in the Obama administration, you know.
So that's right. He did. I remember that. Okay, he did.
So,
he did.
Oh wow.
So he's he dipped his toes in a lot of stuff, right? So it wasn't just about football. It really was important for him to actually become part of, you know, like other things, right, outside of football. And so hopefully next year he gets inducted into Football Hall of Fame. I understand why people were upset.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be, for sure.
Yeah, they
definitely should be.
So so a lot of people are upset he's still not there. And so hopefully next class, hopefully 20.
They'll rectify that. Right.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll
I'm
be
just glad he
inducted.
didn't fight for Cordell Stewart to be a starting quarterback.
No, Cordell Stewart. You know,
he was on that college team with Champ Bailey.
Champ
Yep.
Bailey.
Yep,
No,
Champ Bailey
not
was
the
on
Champ Bailey. He played corner for the Redskins, right? Was that
Yes.
Champ Bailey?
That had that we did that we made that one-for-one trade with Clint Portis.
Yeah.
Oh, the good Clinton Portis.
Yes.
You don't remember?
You know what? He was also on Dancing with the Stars. He just
Stars, right? That had Hines Ward.
Oh, that's right. He was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, Hines Ward is out there having fun in his retirement.
That's the way to do it, man.
I think he was on Swapping Parents too, something like that.
Was it what Wife Swap? One of those?
Wife Swap. That's what he was on. I believe it was.
Wife Swap. Was it?
No, I didn't know that. I knew Dancing with the Stars because I like that show.
Wife Swap.
Shout out to Brandon Gardner. He's watching us. He said he should be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. But nominations have been stacked lately with all the good names. So yeah, and a lot of times there are a lot of people that will get left out because
that's true.
There's a lot of people that are trying to go in. You know. Yeah. So, and I love it. Yo, thank you so much for that, Delilah. Especially with everything that's going on right now. I think that is the specific person that you pick, being that he is Black and half Asian American. That's something that needs to be told right now because, unfortunately, we do have some messed up stuff going on to our brothers and sisters of Asian American descent. So, keep them lifted up. And definitely like Hans Word. Love that. I love that. But now we're into the meat of it. The crux. All right.
Are we?
I want to move the AFC North up to the top so we can just start teeing off, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that, all right?
Oh, he's not gonna do that, he says. Look at that.
I wish I had the videotape from last week to see how we just started going back and forth. And it's the good stuff, but there's so much good information out there. And so many of these moves and things that we're talking about are speculation. It's what we think they should do. But with how you've seen Washington and Chicago in the front office, and you can't predict some of the moves, some of the things that will happen. But this week, we're talking about the AFC. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the East and with you, Delilah.
All right, here we go.
I just saw that. I was like, all right. I tried to get a little segue. I'm sorry.
All right, that's cool. No worries. All right. So let's start with the Bills, right? So I'm just gonna go and start with the Bills. Right now, they really do feel that as far as the AFC East, they've done the best when it comes to like free agency, trades, things like that, like just their moves, because really they've kind of spent most of the time retaining their core, right? They really did kind of keep their core, the guys that got them as far as they did, right? So for manager Brandon Beane, he's done, he heads into April really with no large gaping holes among his starters, right? Following the 2020, with the bulk of the free agency already is done. Really, it's looking at what they're going to do with the draft, right? Because they addressed their two biggest needs before the free agency by re-signing, Matt Milano, by re-signing guard John Feliciano, and right tackle, Darrell Williams. So basically, they were one of the first teams to restructure to make the salary cap, right, to kind of make that space so that they could keep a lot of these guys, so they could keep their bulk and protect, right, Josh Allen and give him what he needs. They brought back starting cornerback Levi Wallace, right? So again, they were looking at both sides of the field, right? Not just offense, they were looking also at the defense, right? Like what are guys that they're going to keep. And, whatever people might think, people don't see that them signing Mitchell was a bad thing, right? As backup for Josh Allen. So a lot of announcers don't see a problem with that. A lot of analysts were like, backup, it's kind of solid. And I don't hate him, so I hope he does well.
Right.
So, so they signed, we know they signed Emmanuel Sanders, right? That was huge. They also signed tight end Jacob Hollister. So really they're looking really good at the draft. While they're going to draft guys to kind of plug, kind of smaller areas. They really took care of what they needed to take care of by re-signing the major guys and by signing a few other guys on both ends, right? Like, so really right now they feel like, as far as the AFC East, Buffalo has done a really stellar job of, during the free agency. So, Yeah, but again, he's just gonna sit there. So, and again, I don't hate Mitch, so who knows? Maybe being with Buffalo is gonna be good for him.
And there
You
have
know,
been occurrences last year where Josh Allen did appear to have a little injury hiccups that didn't do much damage, but if that happens,
yeah. So really, so when Buffalo goes in, they could probably look at another linebacker. Maybe they could look at a defensive tackle, cornerback. It's really they're just plugging little stuff, right? So I think going into the draft, they're looking pretty good, especially since they don't have a high draft pick anyway. So, so I think they're looking pretty good. So they'll be good. Yeah, he'll be watching. Listen,
he'll be holding the clipboard. He'll be holding the tablet.
If Allen goes down, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be rooting for Mitch all the way because I was never a Mitch hater. I was never one of those Chicago fans. I really didn't. So, so yeah, I'll be rooting for him to do well. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I will be rooting for him. All right, so that's Buffalo. Again, not too much to say there because they really did kind of retain their core, and then they signed a few people. And so going into the draft, they think they're looking pretty good. Miami, I think the big thing, obviously, the big thing with Miami is that we were like, oh, they're gonna pick 12, but then there was like another shift, and now they're still get to pick 6. So, so Miami is like, we're trying to see really what they do in the draft, right, with this pick, because it became a whole, right, everybody had a lot of fun there. It's like, oh, but they gave up the 3rd, now they're going to pick 12, and then it's like, oh, actually, no. They're going to pick 6. They got a good deal, right? We know that. Like they're gonna be good for the next few seasons, right? We've seen that. Like it's not
next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, they're gonna be good to go as far as draft picks go.
Everybody.
Yeah, because in the beginning they weren't really doing too much with free agency, right? They kind of signed a few people, but I think they handed out some deals, right? They gave a 1-year deal to Matt Skura, Malcolm Brown, Robert Foster, 1 year. They signed Jacoby Brissett, right, as a backup. It's not for Tua. We'll see how that goes. People see that as a good move. Some people see the Malcolm Brown thing as questionable because he really didn't get to play too much, right?
No.
And so they don't know what he's gonna do. But maybe here he'll actually play some games, right? Maybe pick up some yards. So who knows? Maybe he'll be okay. Because he's right now he's played. They're saying he started 2 out of his 73 career NFL games. So not a lot of play out of him. So they don't know what that means. Justin Coleman, right? They signed him. They see this as questionable because he was the highest paid player or the cornerback, nickelback for the Detroit Lions. Didn't really do too much there. So they don't know, they don't know if that's going to pay off. Right, because he really was the highest paid nickel corner in the league when he was with Detroit, and he didn't live up to that hype, right? So
that defense was terrible. So.
Yeah, right, exactly. So who knows? Maybe on Miami with a better defense, we can see him do some stuff, right? So
yeah, I mean he's playing alongside.
So
he'll be all right.
Yeah, so right now we'll see what happens with that. They signed, Adam Butler to 2 years. They see that, people see that as a good move too, because they think he'll get to the he'll get to the quarterback lot. They signed, McKinney to 3 years. Again, that's another thing people are really not sure because he's a veteran. So I guess that's why people feel comfortable, right? They like vets on teams because they feel like they bring something. Duke Riley, they signed him to 1 year. So we'll see what he'll play here. Because really what they're saying is that he was better on special teams. So maybe that's what he'll be in Miami. So we'll see what happens with that. They re-signed, as you know, Elandon Roberts. They re-signed Matt Collins, which makes sense, right? How do you not?
Sure.
They signed Kai Loxley to a 1-year deal. We'll see how that goes because again, they don't really know how that kid will do. They mainly have college stats on him, so they don't really know. So that's the whole thing, right? Why people weren't too keen on some of the moves that Miami has been doing during the free agency because some stuff they felt like, okay, it's questionable. And some moves they see good. I think really it's what are they going to do with that number 6 pick, right? I think that's really what people are waiting for. They really want to see what they're going to do during the draft. So so that's
where Nick said it. They should definitely draft a running back.
Yeah, so that's where Miami is.
Running back? Right? Who said that?
You said it. You said that. Didn't you say you should draft a running back? Yes.
Miami, Arizona,
bro.
Yeah,
Miami, Jamar Chase, bro. Jamar Chase, come on, wide receiver.
I could have said running back.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I see wide receiver or Kyle Pitts at tight end. We'll see.
Yeah, so we'll see how Miami does. So right now, they did a few moves during the free agency, but again, nothing to really, wow anyone yet. It's like, I think again, it's what people are looking at the draft. Yes, Nate.
Well, the wow was Isaiah Wilson was cut from the Dolphins.
Oh yeah,
he was.
Yeah, but
I was not surprised. I knew that was going to happen. I'm sorry. I just wanted to put that in.
No, you're right. I think that's why I didn't really talk about it because I really didn't. I thought everybody kind of saw that coming, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yes, Isaiah was cut. Sorry guys. Sorry, Miami.
We're not going to acknowledge that, Wendy. Just keep moving.
sorry, Wendy. Right.
All right.
It's all right, Wendy. We'll see you.
Oh, Wendy.
Your discount double check.
All right. So moving on to the Jets. I think they've been the most hard at work really on that side. Sure. Right. They, signed, obviously we know brand new head coach. That was really like the big thing. It wasn't even the players. It was everything was really about them signing Saleh, right? They're like, okay, here we go, new head coach. And so Joe Douglas really has been trying to patch up both sides to give Saleh, right, a winning chance, right? So really he's just spending some time trying to give him at least a decent team, right, that he could take and get some wins out of. So let's see. They kind of spent, man, their spending has been like almost $90 million, right? They have been they've spent quite a lot of money. But again, in an effort to give Robert Saleh a competitive roster, right, in 2021 and beyond. So they didn't hire this head coach to then give him a team that he can't, win with.
He can't grow,
right?
Which we've seen, for
right.
Sure.
So they signed, they gave contracts to Carl Lawson, right? We saw that, which was really huge. They really gave him a giant contract. That was like $30 million in guaranteed money to lure him from Cincinnati, right? Yeah. So to lure him from Cincinnati, they gave Carl Lawson a guaranteed $30 million. Then they signed, Jared Davis. Again, he received the second most guaranteed money, $5.5 million. Then they also brought in Sheldon Rankins. He's guaranteed $4.5 million. So they gave guaranteed money to a lot of these guys to kind of lure them from their teams, right? Again, they really want to give them something, right? They want to give Robert Saleh something to go. Yeah.
Incentive.
I'm assuming that's what they told him, right? They're like, come over here. We're going to give you a team. So now they had to like really put their money right where their mouth is. They really had to start doing all of this. They signed safety LaMarcus Joyner, again, $2.5 million guaranteed money. Vinny Curry received $1.1 million in guaranteed money.
Vinny Curry.
Yeah. defensive end. He received 1.1 million guaranteed money.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. Cornerback. Yep. And then you have your cornerback and special teams guy, Justin Hardy, was given 1 million. Corey, again, just a lot of money. Corey Davis, wide receiver, 3-year deal, $37.5 million.
There you go.
With 27 million guaranteed. Yeah.
Good Corey Davis.
Yeah. So Keelan Cole received 5 million guaranteed money. 3 million went to Dan Feeney, a guard. Tight end Tyler Croft, 1.5 million in guaranteed money. So again, they spent a lot of money. Like they spent a lot of money during this free agency time. So
I think the Corey Davis signing was a good one.
Yeah,
I think it's a good again, breath of fresh air for him. I think the expectation of him being a number one wide receiver didn't really pan out in Tennessee.
Right.
So.
And then Tevin Coleman, I think he's the one that received the less guarantee, but still running back. He was 400,000 guarantee money for him. Wow. And then obviously the big thing is that New York Jets trade QB Sam Darnold to Carolina, right? For 3 draft picks, which Nate already talked about, right? So they get 3 draft picks. They received the 6th round for this upcoming draft. And then they get a 2nd and 4th rounder in 2022. So they got a good deal, to be honest.
Welcome to New York, Zach Wilson. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Right, you think that's what they're gonna pick? They're gonna go with that.
Zach Wilson number 2. That's why they got rid of Sam Darnold. They've been on that kid's jock heavier than cheerleaders. I mean, geez. Zach Wilson.
Who's the backup now, though? Who's to be his backup?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
really.
He gets hurt? Yes, it does. It still
does matter. Let's look it up.
There's still
this guy's making like Broadway Joe Namath and make New York good again.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Phenomenal ride. You're going to see parades.
Ninja.
And
Get out of
Jets
here.
will make the playoffs and everybody will be happy. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Backups would be a James Morgan and Mike White.
Say that again, Nate.
His backups would be a guy by the name of James Morgan and Mike White.
Oh man,
he might as well say Nick Rosario.
That's right. I will take quarterback. You can guarantee me $1 million, and I'll hand the ball off to whoever. Let's go.
I will definitely. I will hold the clipboard for $1 million.
Oh, that's so
Absolutely.
funny.
Give it to me, baby.
So that was the big thing, right? So those are the big moves for the Jets, and then last but not least, the New England Patriots, right?
Whoa, good Lord, the Patriots.
Yeah. So Patriots, they signed wide receiver, Nelson Aguilar from Las Vegas. He was an unrestricted free agent. So they signed him. They signed Henry Anderson, Kendrick Bourne, a wide receiver, again, unrestricted free agent for San Francisco. They signed Cody Davis, again, also a free agent. Tight end Hunter Henry, again, another free agent. He came to them from the Chargers. Matt Judon, right? They got him. Matt Judon. So they've signed him also.
Yeah, that's Nate's guy, isn't it? Matt Judon?
Yeah, I think so. So they lured him from Baltimore. He's gonna be
that's your guy named Matt Judon. That was your guy, right, Nate?
Yeah. So he'll be playing,
biting his tongue. Look like he wants to smack me through the computer. Look at him.
Yeah, it probably does. I think so. They signed offensive lineman Tenkaras from Miami, Jalen Mills from Philadelphia, Kyle Van Noy. So they've been stacking their defense a lot, really, if you look at this. Totally. Dietrich Wise Jr., Leroy Reynolds. So again, they spent some time. They've signed some. They really they have been spending some money and signing people during free agency.
Because Bill Belichick told him, I need some help.
Yeah.
Tom Brady just won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Didn't they sign another tight end outside of Hunter Henry?
Oh, Hunter Henry.
Tom. That's what that is. That's what that is.
Who did they sign?
Did they just sign another tight end? I
There was
had
another
Jonnu
big name tight
Jonnu
end.
Smith.
I had a few.
Yeah, Johnny Smith, right?
Johnny Smith. That's who it
Jonnu
was,
Smith.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
that was
From Tennessee, yeah.
yeah, that's right. So that was a new So that was a North signing too.
That's a running game move.
Yep.
Little tight end set. Man.
Oh yeah,
I
and
would take it.
they signed Raycon McMillan. So he's what's there well, they definitely made moves, right? They made a lot of moves. They re-signed Lawrence Guy, they re-signed James White, right? They re-signed their kicker. What's interesting is that they have a good draft pick, right? And the people think that they're gonna draft a quarterback, but not because what I was reading too is that people are forgetting that there's a lot of second tier quarterbacks too that people have been looking at. So it's not even just the top creme de la creme. There's like some analysts were saying that they also have some really high second tier, QB prospects. And remember that they did it with Tom Brady. He did not go in the first round, right? Tom Brady was not a first round quarterback. So the Patriots have a good history at picking, a quarterback from, lower rounds, right? So we saw them do it with Tom. They're saying one of the guys that they've been talking to is the quarterback from Texas A&M, Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond.
They're saying that they've actually been in contact, like they've been texting, messaging, et cetera. So it seems that that's who the Patriots are looking at to draft is the Texas A&M quarterback.
Okay, very nice.
So that they've also met. So
there you go.
It looks like that might be the guy. They don't know, but again, that's who they've been in contact with during the off season. Has been this kid from Texas A&M. So we will see how that goes. But yeah, so I think now everybody's just waiting to see what happens with the drafts at this point. We saw that a few signings have happened, the last couple of days, but it hasn't been too much, right? Hasn't been too much action going on. But that's your AFC East. So,
AFC East, all right. Woo!
I think the only thing with the AFC East, I think the Galladay signing was I don't think he was overpaid. I think he deserved it, penny just injuries. Galladay. Other than that, I'm not mad at it.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how he does. But he's
wait.
He's not.
He was. That's NFC East.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Sorry, it's been a long day, y'all. I apologize.
No, you're good. I was like, wait a minute, I shouldn't be talking about him. We talked about that last week.
Kenny Galladay, what? They got rid of him already? He signed with him? No.
It is the Giants. It is the Giants. Well, listen,
that's what he's signed with. Yeah. So those are your AFC East moves. Who wins in the end? I guess really is who wins the division, right? That's what.
There's New England.
It's going
to be New England and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, New England and Buffalo.
On paper, that's what it's looking like. But then,
I
also have Miami.
I think it's going to be
with all those picks.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see what happens on the AFC side. To be honest, is to see how that's gonna look. Is New York? Are the Jets gonna have a new spirit, right? Because they have this new coach. Like, does that change the culture of that whole team? Does that get rid of all the bad juju, from before?
Bad juju.
It's gonna be interesting. It certainly will be interesting.
Yeah. All right, that's your AFC.
Definitely not wait. Definitely not wait for that. And then next, to move on to the AFC North, Nate, what you got for us, man?
Nathan.
All right. So the AFC North, it's been really interesting to really follow all of these four teams. I think out of all, I would say Cincinnati kind of made some interesting moves. I'm going to talk about who they lost, who they signed. So I'll start with the Cleveland Browns. So The Browns signed Troy Hill, John Johnson, Malik Jackson, Rashard Higgins, Malcolm Smith, Oliver Vernon. I think they were really in the market to get a J.J. Watt, and I think that kind of backfired on them. So Terrence Mitchell, and then Larry Ogunjobi. The Bengals, they signed defensive end Troy Hendrickson from New Orleans, Mike Hilton from Pittsburgh, Chindobe Onwanazi. I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I said his name. And the Bengals signed Larry Ogunjobi. Riley Riff, I think that was a good signing for left tackle to protect Joe Burrow. We all know Cincinnati most likely will draft. Was it Swivel? I'm saying his name right. Offensive line. Swivel. So we all know. Riley Riff is just.
He had a good pro day. That guy. His pro day was
definitely the best lineman. Definitely the best lineman for sure.
William Jackson. These were guys that they lost. William Jackson, Carl Lawson, Delilah said, Geno Atkins, AJ Green, John Ross. And then you have, let's do Baltimore. Let's do us. We signed Sammy Watkins, Anthony Levine, Pernell McPhee, LJ Ford, and we also signed Kevin Zuler from the New York G-Men. We lost Matthew Judon.
Yep.
Ngakwe. Masakura, Mark Ingram. I wasn't surprised. And also too, we lost. His name will come to me. But I think Baltimore kind of hurt there. But I think it was a solid pickup with Sammy Watkins. I think it was funny. Juju Smith-Schuster, who re-signed with Pittsburgh, actually took a shot at us and said that because we had actually were in the offer to get him. And he said that one team, if Pittsburgh he couldn't get signed to Pittsburgh, was Kansas City. So basically he took a shot and said that his stats were going to be slashed playing with Lamar Jackson. He was like, I want to see how Sammy Watkins is going to look like. And again, I don't understand. I'm not going to get – I don't want to talk about this, but I just don't understand with the goalposts getting moved with Lamar Jackson, but that's neither here nor there.
I think he's just doing some trash talking because y'all are rivals. That's all.
And then Pittsburgh, they re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster, Cam Sutton, Zach Banner, Joe Hay, Chris Wormley, and they lost Bud Dupree to Tennessee, Vince Williams, Mike Hilton, Matt Filler, and James Conner. That is right there your AFC North. I still think when I'm looking at the AFC North, I think it's still Baltimore and Cleveland. I'm not sold on Pittsburgh. Big Ben, I don't know what he's going. He's back for another year. They didn't address. I mean, Joe Haig is great, but you lost Marquise Pouncey. He retired. So, and on top of that, you don't have a running game, and you lost a good chunk of your defense. So I'm not sold on Pittsburgh. I'm damn sure not right now. Well, I'm not. Let me take that. Cincinnati is young and they're growing. So right now it's just Baltimore and Baltimore and Cleveland.
Anthony Munoz wants Cincinnati to draft Penny. He likes that kid.
Totally.
He chimed in. He's like, I hope the Bengals draft Penny.
I hope
listen to him. Obviously, Anthony Munoz knows what he's talking about, right?
He knows.
Say so.
That would be a great pickup. I mean, it probably is. They need it for Joe Burrow. So.
Right. And if he's saying, one of the greatest linemen, right, is saying this kid is your next star. Like, listen to him.
Hopefully we get Anthony Munoz and some coaching positions out there.
I hope so. I love him. I hope so.
Bring it home to Cincinnati. I absolutely love that. Man.
I'll see. Yeah. No, I said I will see. I hope it's going to be exciting. Draft day.
Draft day.
Coming Coming up April 29th, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yeah, but we're moving on. AFC South.
There we go.
Nick Rosario, what you got for us, man?
All right, well, let's start with the perennial favorites to land Trevor Lawrence, the Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, with the number one pick. And they decided that they were going to try to beef up a little bit with their wide receiving core here. They did pick up Marvin Jones Jr., got him for a couple of years, $14.5 million, to add to DJ Chark. And I always get this kid's name wrong, but it's Laviska Shenault, right? Laviska
Shenault. That's Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, you've got three pretty good receivers right now with that. And then you also picked up Philip Dorsett, kind of as a fourth receiver there. His deal was actually unknown. The terms were not disclosed at the time. But Philip Dorsett also there in Jacksonville. Another kind of, it's a minor, just a 2-year deal, but Carlos Hyde gets another chance to prove he can carry the ball. He's got a 2-year deal here with Jacksonville. He'll probably be behind James Robinson, but it's I think it's a good place for Carlos Hyde because he has been in the league a few years. He could probably help James Robinson out a little bit, maybe push him a little bit competition-wise. Yeah, and just kind of, help him out. So now you've got a 2-punch in the backfield with Carlos Hyde and James Robinson. So you really see that on offense, they're building for Trevor Lawrence to come here and take over this offense. And I think that's a great
with.
Definitely. Nate's just like, whatever, shaking his little microphone, like, well, okay, sure.
But you know what? The thing is, though, they were not out of those. They were not out of those games last year.
They really weren't. They really weren't.
Remember, they almost beat Green Bay. They almost had Green Bay, and I was so rooting for them in that game. I was like, come on, get them. Because
they have guys. They definitely have guys.
They're still professionals. I mean, they're still a professional football team. They're always in the
for sure.
But what I'm saying is this is 3 years removed from a team that went to the AFC Championship. They have the skeletons of that. They just don't have.
Right, that's true.
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles, everybody's favorite. But they did beef up the defense too. You got a couple of corners here. Shaquille Griffin. Got a 3-year deal for $44.5 million, so that chews up, the cornerback position. Also, Trey Herndon was signed as a cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is another good signing. And my guy that I liked from the Bears, Roy Robertson Harris, got a 4-year, $24.4 million deal. Very sad to see him leave the Chicago Bears. Actually, the kid always hustled and played pretty well. So right there, I mean, the reason I went with Jacksonville first too is I think looking at what they did to plug holes and to solidify, I think they pretty much, from my personal point of view, did the most to help themselves in the offseason here as far as free agent signings.
Right.
So hopefully Jacksonville will be much improved this year, and you won't see them win only one game or whatever it is. So, yeah. Let's go next to the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee was a playoff team, and, obviously they are looking probably to get back to that, of course. A couple of small signings here. They weren't like extremely active or like you're going, oh my God, what did they? But like you said, Bud Dupree, linebacker, of course, is now with Tennessee, so that will bolster the defense a bit. They also signed Jayon Brown, a linebacker, for a year contract at $5.25. They picked up a veteran receiver in Josh Reynolds. I guess he's been kind of playing with the Chargers the last few years, but Josh is now a Tennessee Titan. They lost Corey Davis, so I guess you could plug Josh Reynolds into that spot. Kendall Lamb, offensive tackle, 2-year deal. And Janoris Jenkins, cornerback. Terms were not disclosed at the time, but Janoris now resides in Tennessee. So, again, Tennessee made a couple of good moves here to kind of solidify some spots that they needed. So, again, the Titans will look again to make a playoff push and see what Ryan Tannehill can do for them again, my friend. There you go, Ryan Tannehill. Let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts, who, of course, we all know the big one here. They got their quarterback, Carson Wentz. Philip Rivers only lasting the 1 year and then deciding to retire. So now you had to get a quarterback. You bring in Carson Wentz. Yes, my man Philip, Hall of Famer. I don't care what anyone says.
Right.
For sure. Damn right.
Carson Wentz, obviously the quarterback, big move for Indianapolis. And I think what the Colts did was they brought back a lot of their, some of their offensive weapons to kind of, they get 1-year deals. T.Y. Hilton got a year deal for $10 million. Marlon Mack got a 1-year deal for $2 million. Al Quadin Mohammed got a 1-year deal for 3.4. They re-signed a guard, Chris Reed, for a year. Xavier Rhodes, the cornerback, got a year deal at $6.5 million. So again, the Colts here are just trying to build on what they had, because honestly, they had a pretty decent team going in. Phillip did a pretty good job with that team. So now it's up to see what Carson Wentz can do. He's getting, because here's the thing with Carson, like, you know, we've had discussions about this before.
Right.
Now is your chance, my friend. This is your redemption story. You complain, you know, you had your time, you had your injury, you had this, you had that. You're on a brand new team. You're being handed the reins to this team. Well, let's see what you do with it, my friend. This is your time. Like John Cena said, you can't see me. My time is now. It's your time, Carson Wentz. So let's see what you got right.
Just fine.
And you know what? He very well may be. You know, I don't wish anything bad on the kid, but definitely this is the opportunity. I think that, you know,
he does have a chance,
and I hope that I hope that he takes advantage of it. Is all I'm saying. Right. So now we get to the Houston Texans, and I wanted to save Houston for last because there is just so much here, literally, that you could unfold with a lot of this stuff.
So much drama.
But let's go with the free agent signings first before we get to some of the obvious.
Yeah.
Well, one that really glares, I mean, when you think about it, they signed a quarterback.
They did.
This is a name you'll all be familiar with, Mr. Tyrod Taylor. Who, as we all know, thanks to a doctor who punctured his lung, lost him his job to Justin Herbert in the Chargers, making Tyrod Taylor expendable. Right. So where does he end up? In Houston, baby. Signs a 1-year, $12.5 million deal to, right now, he's possibly the starter, given everything that's going on with our boy Deshaun over there. So we'll get into that later. But Tyrod gets a 1-year, $12.5 million deal to come over to the Texans. You know, they signed center Justin Britt to a 1-year, $5 million. Always need someone to snap the ball to the quarterback, so always a good thing to pick up center. Dante Moncrief, everybody remembers, you know, wide receiver. Dante Moncrief got a 1-year deal there in Houston. Christian Kirksey, linebacker, gets a year at $4.5 million. Try to beef up the defense. Cornerback, something that you know, Desmond King, 1-year, $3.5 million there. Of course, my man Nate mentioned it. Mark Ingram, running back, gets a 1-year deal, $3 million to run the ball there in Houston. See what he does with that. They also signed Phillip Lindsay, another running back from the old Denver Broncos, $3.25 million.
Well, I think Lindsay's going to be the starter over Ingram. So
he very well may be, but I'm just saying now you've got two backs there in Houston, Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram. See what you got. Never know. The guys could, you know, Lindsay probably needed a new start after what happened in Denver. So, yeah. So, you know, good on him. Hopefully he can do something with his
That could be a perfect change of pace situation.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Kevin Pierre-Louis gets a 1-year, $8 million. But I do, again, I know Sean gave me the AFC style. I think I asked for it because I did want to, you know, okay, let's just go with it. Deshaun Watson, okay? We all know, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot that, my biggest thing, and again, I know people will always get on you about, well, obviously where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, when you got 20, when you got 20 people coming forward and making accusations and saying, hey, I got this. My thing with this whole thing, and one of the things that I do find interesting, no criminal charges have been filed. So you've got 20 women, and again, I'm not saying they're lying or anything, but I'm just saying you've got 20 women who have come forward and said, you know, this happened, this is what happened, this is what. But no criminal charges have been filed in any of these cases.
No, and the sheriff spoke out on that, said that nothing's been brought to his. Right.
So it does make you wonder what is going on.
Yeah.
Like if you have 20 accusations against anyone,
why are you not filing anything against this guy?
Yeah, like what is going on there? Like this seems just so peculiar in so many ways. Yeah. And I don't know whether to really feel bad for Deshaun or, you know, if you did do this, you're a jerk. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's just such a weird situation the way it's unfolding.
And again, especially when you have the Houston Texans that are just really, honestly and truthfully, really quiet about this.
Yeah, they're not saying anything. And the thing is, you know, they were all of a sudden, well, it's the funny thing is they were all behind it, right? Well, we're not getting rid of him. We're not
right.
We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Then this stuff comes out, and then it's like crickets. You hear nothing.
Crickets. It's silence.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me.
Right. I mean,
in a sense.
What is going on over here in Houston? Like, who is running the show here? Bozo the Clown? Like, this stuff is like, I bet you
Lovey's like, what did I do? No, I'm like, I bet you Lovey Smith is like, what did I do coming over here?
Lovey's like, well, I should have stayed in Illinois, but they wouldn't keep me.
He's a very quiet guy. You know,
he is. No, he
you know, goes to church. He doesn't swear. You know, it's like he doesn't like drama.
He doesn't. No, I'm sure he doesn't. But yeah, so I just, you really wonder. Like, Houston is such in a whirlwind here, such a tailspin. Like, you kind of feel bad for the team itself. Like, how do you get motivated?
The team, the city.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying though, how do you get up to motivate yourself to really like,
play the game?
Yeah. Like this, where's the Houston pride?
And you're right though. The front office hasn't released a statement. The coach, nothing. Like,
I believe Cal McNair wrote a letter to the season ticket holders. But as far as like making a statement really regarding Deshaun, like to the public,
he wants to make sure he retains all his season ticket holders so he can make
for sure.
Money. That's why he did that. Again, he's about as transparent as Dan Schneider and his hirings. Give me a break, bro. But I digress on that subject. That's another time. But
it's just, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a very complicated situation going on down there.
And again, I know I'll be glued to the TV to find out what happens.
Yeah, it snowballed, right? Because it started with, he's not happy there. So then people are like, were you trying to get out of there because you knew this was coming?
Right.
Is that why you really wanted to leave?
Can I get traded before all these accusations come out? Like, what's up?
Like, what's going on? Well, that's the thing. It looks bad all around, right?
It looks bad all the way around. Like I said, everybody looks guilty in some way in this.
Yes, it looks like it sounds like
wrong on many levels.
It sounds like Houston buried these stories. And then, like,
if they do, does Roger Goodell deal with them? You know what I mean? What does Roger do if that in fact is true? If they knew about this and they were covering it up till they couldn't cover it up anymore, now we have to do something.
Is that why this dude was like, "Get me the hell out of Texas"? Like, what's going on? Like, what is going on in Houston?
So it's definitely
y'all got to figure out. Figure out your mess because it ain't even this team. Even your basketball team has problems. Figure it out, Houston.
Oh yeah, no. Houston as a city, as a sports city, is definitely like
what's going on?
What the hell happened? I mean, you got the Astro scandal for cheating to win a World Series. So Houston's just as a sports town has just been taking a beating the last few years.
The cheating scandal that the Angels fans tossed garbage into the. Houston. Listen, Houston. You gotta figure out what's going on with your sports over there because all of it's looking bad. It's all looking bad. Like,
in the immortal words of Charles Barkley, that's terrible. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
All right, that's your AFC South move.
Right, Mr. AFC West. Here he is.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sean Spencer.
Harry coming in hot. And definitely want to take a minute. Shout out to people that are watching this. Brandon Garner, Wendy, Anthony Handy. A lot of you have been definitely watching us, tuning in this whole time. Definitely appreciate you guys. Shout out to you guys out. I'm coming in with the AFC West. We already know who leads the AFC, the Chiefs. You know what I mean? The Chiefs definitely lead the way. However, I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start with the team that I think is in the most trouble, the Denver Broncos. First, I'm going to start with their losses. They lost Jeremiah Utacha, the edge rusher, went over to the Bears, went over to you guys. We talked about Philip Lindsay. They lost him. And then Jarrell Casey, defensive lineman, they lost him. Now, they've made some moves, though, on defense. They got Kyle Fuller. We've discussed that. They re-signed Justin Williams. Yeah. They got Darby from Washington. So they got some corners set up. They re-signed Von Miller, but there are some issues. I know there's some legal stuff going on in his life, so we got to worry about that. He didn't play last year. Right. Shelby Harris, they signed him a D-line. The Broncos picked 9th in this draft, and Nick's pick that he had was Patrick Surtain, cornerback, which I mean would be interesting
but now. I'm not
now.
so sure. Well, yeah, because they picked up cornerbacks, so now you're going.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Where does
Yeah.
Denver go now? Right. Denver goes somewhere else.
Because they picked up 2 solid corners with Kyle Fuller and
Uh-oh.
No, he froze.
No, we lost him.
Up. I froze my back. Am I back?
Yes. Well,
we
yeah.
can hear you. We can hear you.
There you are. There you are.
I'm
You hear
back.
me now?
All right. Yeah. I'm in and out.
You're good.
You're good, Sean.
Good. I think you're good.
I'm good. Okay. All right. Bet. Yeah. No. So what I think they should possibly do is trade up. I saw shout out to Josh Everson. He was talking in the chat saying that Washington potentially should trade up to get Trey Lance. I think Denver should do that. I think they should trade with the Panthers and potentially get that spot and get Trey Lance. I think that would be something good in that locker room because I'm not sold on Drew Lock. I'm not sold on Brett Rippon and the other cat that they got. And maybe that says more about the front office and Elway and all them having their hands in it. But I just think that might be a good situation to get Trey Lance in there.
Or TB, baby.
Moving on to
frozen.
the field. Am I flopping again? Yeah, go on it.
That's all right. Yeah, we're back.
Are we good?
I think you're back.
All right. Yeah, forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I am still at work, so the internet is a different one. So I don't know what's going on. Bear with me. Next, I'm gonna go to the Chargers. Who we all know about their losses. Melvin Ingram, who still has not been picked up. Casey Hayward. They lost Pouncey on the offense and Trey Turner, so they need offense. They lost Hunter Henry, that tight end. They lost Rayshawn Jenkins, Sam Levy at left tackle, and Denzel Perryman. So they need help, definitely on that O-line. We know they lost Hunter Henry, which was a perennial every year dominant receiver. So they need to definitely get that work. Ingram is still a free agent. We don't know if maybe potentially they'll try to get him back, but I don't think so. They did pick up Corey Lindsey, center from Green Bay, so that's good. They got Jared Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a huge pickup. They got Jared Cook, tight end from the Saints. Filer, a guard or tackle from Pittsburgh. They re-signed Michael Davis and Ode Obushi. They have the 13th pick in the draft. Where Nick, you had said they were picking Rashawn Slater at 13.
Yeah.
I don't see anything really changing at this moment. I think that one of the things they need is O-line, potentially a guard or tackle.
Look, big for them, yeah. And he'll be there at 13. So
yeah, everything right now for the Chargers, I believe, is just like with Cincinnati. Protect your investment.
Unless somehow Cincinnati doesn't take Penei Sewell at 5, and he's still there at 13.
If Cincinnati doesn't do that, so they're smoking something.
Then they take Penei Sewell at 13. Like the Chargers. Well, I did see some mock drafts where that happens. There's plenty of people who don't think that Cincinnati will take.
Well, I think you have that connection with Burrow and Jamar Chase. I think that could be something that switches
a lot of
it
people
up.
are talking. Maybe they take a receiver because again, Jamar Chase played with Joe Burrow. Yada yada yada. Here we go.
So, we'll see how that plays out.
Urban Meyer should take Justin Fields instead of. No, I'm kidding.
Well, right. Well, but again, you never know. At the end of the day, you never know.
It's very true. Like
Yeah, we definitely know they need O-line help. So definitely Rashawn Slater, Christian Darrisaw, Vera Tucker. These are all names that we've brought up multiple times. Yes. So all quality picks.
Good offensive linemen in this draft this year. Very, very. Hoping our Bears pick one up as well at 20 there, hopefully.
I hope so too.
It could be nice. Yes. So next, we'll move on to the Las Vegas Raiders, who they lost. They lost Trent Brown, right tackle. They lost Rodney Hudson to the Cardinals. Trent Brown went to New England. You talked about LaMarcus Joyner, the safety going to the Jets. They lost Tyrell Williams.
Receiver. They lost Tyrell Williams.
They lost both him and Nelson Aguilar, like Delilah, like you mentioned. And then they lost Gabe Jackson to Seattle at guard. So obviously, line is something that they need, seeing as they lost 3 guys and wide receiver. The Raiders got your boy Nathan and Ngakwe, wasn't his name Ngakwe, edge rusher. They got Nick Martin at center. They picked up John Brown from Buffalo.
There you go.
Kenyon Drake from Arizona.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a very interesting pick. I think that'd be good. I know they got Josh Jacobs out there, but maybe a good,
he could be like a third down running back,
right? Third down back,
a situational type back, yeah.
A Sean Spencer, if you will, on his Herndon High School football team.
Situational, baby. Get in where you fit in.
Well, when he's not going to toss to the outside, but no, I'm kidding.
Right.
Hilarious.
I'm just messing with you, Sean.
So then we also have Solomon Thomas at D tackle. Got him from San Francisco. They re-signed Nicholas Morrow, Denzel Good, a linebacker, a guard, and didn't I think Delilah, you was talking about Miller got the 1-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they got that with him. So definitely, other teams are trying to make moves, but at the end of the day, we all know they're chasing Kansas City. And rather far away from Kansas City. They can't even see Kansas City,
No way.
Kansas City is far.
Not at all. No.
Even with this, we know about Eric Fisher, who's out of the Super Bowl. We know about Schwartz out of the Super Bowl. Both of them have left. We know about your signing, Chicago. You got Damian Williams from Chiefs. They also lost Anthony Sherman. And then Nathan Watkins went to the Ravens. So those are the major moves that they've lost.
They're going to need offensive line help now.
Well, right. So they picked up Kyle Long. They picked up Joe Thuney. So those are two linemen right there. And then they picked up Mike Remmers and Andrew Wiley. So those guys. They got DeMarcus Robinson at wide receiver and then Taco Charleston at D end. So it's more of just kind of, adding depth, padding areas, making sure that, if somebody goes down, we are ready. We're up and ready to go. So again, by off-season standards, it's easy not to look at the Chiefs and say, the Chargers made some big moves, and the Raiders make some big moves. But at the end of the day, you still don't hold a candle to the Chiefs. And until somebody can even challenge the Chiefs, you know what I mean? We can go back to that one game where the Raiders won, but it's like, no. Until somebody can legitimately challenge the Chiefs, it's the Chiefs and it's everybody else.
Absolutely. Like I was reading like a lot of articles saying that by giving Mahomes an extra game, what records isn't he going to kill already? Exactly. Right? Like people are already talking about it, right? Like people are already like, he's already breaking records. Now he gets an extra game.
Right. And I know not a lot of people talk about this because, again, I realize that Patrick Mahomes is held in a very high regard, obviously, for a lot of good reasons. But I'm going to be honest with you. I want to see how he bounces back because he took a beating in the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. He was chased around the whole game. He's throwing from his side. He's throwing off his knees. He's the last game he played and he got beat up. And I'm just saying, I know he's motivated. We all know what a good kid he is. Yeah. But now he's a father. He had a baby. Right. Like him and his girlfriend had a baby. So I just want to see how he comes into the season.
Can he come back and learn from it, right?
Now remember, a lot of that has to do on if the other teams get better. Because I
think Buffalo challenges Kansas City this year. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can see it happening. But I'm talking about in the league. I'm talking about in the league outside of Buffalo. You're going to need more competition for him because he played poorly. Like we've all talked about this. He played poorly later in the late half of the season. He really wasn't this amazing, Mahomes that we thought.
I'm hoping that what that does, right, that makes him hungry, right? That's what it is. Like,
you hope so. That's what I said. I'm interested to see what Patrick Mahomes comes out to start the season and see what they got.
Come back and kind of kill it. Like right now, he's just, he's just chilling, right? He's hanging out.
Just want to see
he's been hanging around golfers, off season, doing some relaxing. He was at
the off season. Do your thing.
He was at the He was at the Masters.
Tom Brady. He's watching Tom Brady throw Super Bowl trophies to other boats.
Oh, are you still on that one? Good Lord.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Yes,
Months
we are.
Later. Months later. No, Patrick Mahomes is hanging out with Trevor Lawrence. They were like at the Masters games together or whatever.
Sean Spencer, ladies and gentlemen,
which is another thing that actually kind of.
Tossing the trophy.
I know. I'm always gonna give him a hard time. Which is actually, and I'm glad you brought that up, Delilah. The Masters is going on right now. It's something that's time-honored tradition, as they say. But it's very interesting, and I'm gonna bring this up to segue into Nate. And we're about to do one last word. We're about to end the show, but the Masters is still going on in Georgia. However, another major sporting event got moved from Georgia, the All-Star Game, to Colorado. Shout out to Nate. He definitely has his show that he will be doing this evening, later on tonight, talking about that and talking about the ramifications and then what that means. So it's definitely interesting to see one major game moved away, but another one stayed put. So there's definitely something. So definitely shout out Nate and definitely tune into that on YouTube Live a little bit later. And we're coming towards the end of the show. One last word.
Oh, look at that. We got a fancy graphic.
Nice. I told you, man, I'm working, man. We upgraded, baby. We give us one last thing that's on our mind, and maybe just finishing off what we're saying today, or something that has to do with the future. Yeah. He said, "Go to sleep." Sorry about that. So yeah, Nate, I'm gonna go ahead and go to you. Nate, if you can then go down to Delilah to Nick, and go from there, and I'm gonna check on some stuff.
All right.
All right. So Nate, what you got?
All right, my last word for the evening is Sammy Watkins in his introductory press conference stated that Lamar Jackson can be elite. I'm not gonna lie, people, that kind of brought some tears to my eyes, honestly. I don't understand. I just don't really understand this notion that you can't, that you can't play with him, but you can't play alongside a guy like Lamar Jackson. So that's my one last word. Sammy Watkins said Lamar can be elite, and I agree he can be elite. You just have to put pieces around him. And once again, and I said it, Sean, in my video yesterday. Trust your eyes. So that's what I see.
Win it, Delilah.
All right, cool. So my last word is I think that the next big move that we'll see, and it's probably gonna, I feel like we still have another kind of shocking move coming, right? We've seen so many. And I think that there's gonna be a huge move with Teddy, right? Whatever happens with that is going to have an effect on the draft, right? We're already seeing that these quarterback moves have definitely shifted the draft a lot, right? The numbers, who's going, right? And so I think Teddy's like the next big linchpin is like wherever he goes, right? And the other thing is I think Atlanta will give up that number 4 spot. I don't know to who, but someone's going to give Atlanta, because the thing is that they're actually answering the phones, right? They actually are listening to offers for the number 4 spot. Now, I guess that means that they're comfortable in what they got going on, which I find interesting. But they are willing to listen to those offers. So I think those are going to be the 2 big moves. Like, I see something happening with Atlanta, and I definitely see Teddy being traded, obviously before the draft happens.
Nice, Nick.
Okay, well, I think for me, just my last word, I think I'm just gonna. It's not about sports. It's not about anything like that. It's on my heart. I think just because in general, with everything going on in the world, a lot of the things you read and a lot of the things that have been happening, and I just, and it's kind of funny because it is a Jerry Springer quote, so people will be like, "What?" But Jerry, at the end of every show, would say, "Be kind to yourselves and each other." And so I want to leave you with that tonight, guys. Really, be kind to yourself and to each other. That's what I have to say.
2 very hard things to do.
Exactly. So, yeah.
And guys,
the world could use a little bit of that right now.
Hey, amen. Amen to that. Hey, and I like that I love that you said that, man. Guys, we're very specific on this show. So loving you guys watching us and things like that. But we talk about things that are very serious, and we intertwine them into life. We talk about the Watson situation. We talk about race. You know, we cover diversity. We cover things that are in life, and that's one of the things I wanted with this platform is that, you know, we're going to talk sports, of course, because we all love sports, but we cannot be naive and sit here and think that sports and life are parallel, if not intertwined the whole way through. You know what I mean? So some of this stuff does come in to play with real life, and that applies. And I love that you said that, Nick. My one last word is I definitely want to, like I did yesterday, I want to shout out my co-host. I want to shout out Nathan Snell. I want to shout out Delilah Crespo, and I want to shout out Nicholas Rosario. Anytime I've asked you guys to be here, to do a show, to do anything, y'all been down. Y'all been ready to go with notes more than I was even prepared for. You know what I mean? You were above and beyond. And it makes me think, you know, I was raised in the church, so it makes me think of, you know, Psalm 23 when you said your cup runneth over. I asked for a little bit. Y'all give me, you know, mountains of stuff. So I'm so blessed to have you guys in my life. So glad you guys did that. And I've been here and I know I hit you with so much stuff, and I know I could be annoying. Cat always sits there and is like, God, you just not do this one day, you know? But when you have a passion, when you absolutely love what you do, and you have people like you that make it so easy to keep this thing going, I have to shout you guys out. And I want to say that to say April 29th is the draft. It is happening, and we will be doing a live show in Chicago from my buddies, where we will be sitting here and going through every pick, culminating with the 19th pick Washington, 20th pick Chicago Bears, 26th or 7th Ravens.
28, I thought.
For you, Nathan.
26 for the Ravens.
26 Ravens, where we're gonna have a show and then be able to kind of hit people up and bring them in so we can have their analysis on those picks. So I can't wait. I'm so glad we're doing this. I can't wait. I'm gonna be going to Chicago for this thing. So it's gonna be a fun time. Definitely tune in, join in, share, like. And to the three of you that have been watching, like we've got up to like 7 or 8 people, but 3 people have been faithfully in here getting in.
Thank you guys. Hey, you're the reason we do this.
Rock, man.
Thank you.
You know, that's why we do it. That's why we do it.
Don't be mad at me anymore, Wendy. That's all I ask.
So, hey. As long as you talk, look, once the season starts and she sees how much of a Bears fans you guys are, that's when the smoke's gonna really come out.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get it, right?
I know. Oh man, it's like we can't root for anything because she's a Brewers fan too, and I'm like, okay, well I can't root for y'all because I'm like I'm a Cubs fan. I'm like, Wendy, we can't connect.
We're trying, man. We're trying. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Gang, gang. Homie, thank you, Anthony Handy, for watching us. I'm Sean Spencer. Right to the right of me is
Nathan Snell.
Nathan Snell. Down here.
Delilah Crespo.
Delilah Crespo. And right under me.
Nick Rosario. And no smoke today because I'm tired. No, I'm kidding. Love you guys.
All right. Good night, guys.
Hey, and thank you for being with us. Hey, we'll see you later, guys.
All right. Bye.
Peace.